Right. Without further ado, let us begin our cosplay panel, shall we? I'd invite on the stage Miss Jerry Polence. That's the doozy. Welcome, welcome. Here you go, ma'am. Let's get comfortable while we wait for Yaya. So, Jerry, welcome. Welcome to Singapore.
Hello.
Can you hear her? Excellent. I'll take that as a yes. So, Jerry, welcome to Singapore.
Nice to be here. It's been awesome last few days.
So, you arrived in Singapore about like a couple of days ago, I believe.
Yes, believe it was a Friday. So.
Okay, so what have you done since then?
Well, I went to Chinatown, and I think it's People's Park.
Yeah, People's Park.
Shop around for fabric. There's a lot of food there, and I'm a big foodie, so I ate a lot.
What did you eat? Give us a little bit of, like, what are the few things that you ate?
There's like this durian tapioca pancake.
Pancake, eh?
Tapioca durian.
Oh, that one, yeah. Names escape me, though.
And then there's this juice. It's sugarcane and lemon.
Oh, the sugarcane, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to find in the States, and I can find it easy in the Philippines. Just that it doesn't come with lemon, and it complements it well, so I like it.
Excellent. Right. So, without further ado, let's just. So, you come from the States. Which part of the States are you from?
I'm from Washington State, Seattle. The area is more known for Starbucks. It's the birthplace of Starbucks, and if there are any Twilight fans out there, Fox, Washington, basically is the setting of Twilight.
And just a little side note, if anybody has any questions for Jerry as well as Yaya Han, you can just rush up to the little microphone right in front there and ask away. So yeah. So how long have you been cosplaying for?
Since 2003.
Wow, a long time.
Yeah.
Doing the math, 9 years. Yeah, excellent. So your main, what's your main genre of cosplay? I mean, it's obviously Western. So.
Just for reference for people out there, I've been only in the States for 3 years. And before that, I was cosplaying in Southeast Asia, namely my country, Philippines.
I see.
So I cosplayed from everything from anime and video games.
Well, what are some of the characters you've cosplayed before in anime and in video games?
One of the most notable ones is Final Fantasy X. I did Shiva in 2003.
Oh, awesome.
And then a Matrix character named Juliet. It's from the Animatrix. So yeah.
Oh, awesome. It's a character that not many people generally do. That's really cool. So yeah, so what determines a character that you wish to cosplay? Do you take the character's popularity into account, or do you just go completely by what you like personally as an artist?
Okay. Maybe both, because if I spend, most people don't realize that cosplayers actually spend for their costumes and
Yes.
have to dedicate time and effort to actually making them. So if I actually spend and make my costume, I usually go for something that I really like showbiz and Koreas.
Oh wait, Yaya Han is right here. Could I invite up on stage too, please? There we go. Welcome. Glad you could join us.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Yay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep. Let's get comfortable here. Yes, both our fine ladies are here today. How are you doing, people?
This is my first time in Singapore, so I've had an absolutely amazing time so far. And before that, I was in the Philippines, so I love visiting new places. I love traveling. I absolutely love meeting cosplayers from other countries. So any chance that I have to do that is really wonderful. So thank you all so much for being here, and thank you, Jason, Neo Tokyo Project, and all of you guys for having me.
And thank you for coming here, both of you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to ask you what I just asked Jerry here. So what have you done so far in the 2 days you've been in Singapore?
I've spent a lot of money.
Then you're doing it right.
I'm really good at spending money, apparently, and I realized that when I came to Singapore, and within less than 24 hours, I think I went to the ATM 4 times because I kept running out. Because Jason kept taking us to like more and more amazing stores, and I bought a ton of cosplay materials, and I haggled it for fabric, and we bought foam, and we bought lights, and for awesome new projects.
Wow. So which part of the US are you from, Yaya?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, which is the southeast. It's actually a really big city in the southeast and kind of a hub. And the cool thing about Atlanta is it is actually a really big capital for cosplayers. We have 2 very big conventions there. Actually, Dragon Con is my favorite convention, and it's next weekend, so I have to rush back to Atlanta tomorrow to get prepared for it.
Busy.
Yes.
So yeah, as I was discussing with Jerry just now, and this goes for both of you, of course. So you obviously here as Chun-Li today, which is awesome. But what determines the character that you cosplay for the both of you? Do you take into things like the popularity of the character, or do you just don't bother that and just go by whatever you like personally, regardless of how mainstream it is or not?
I answered that earlier, and then the other part, when it comes to popularity, well, when it came to this costume, I cosplayed it mainly because League of Legends is very popular, and I have a loved one who is, this is his favorite champion, so I did it.
That's so sweet.
Well, for me, I've been cosplaying for 13 years. So I did it when cosplay was very underground, and no matter what you dressed up as, people didn't know who you were, So for me, popularity of a character has never been an issue. I have never cosplayed a character just to try to get attention because it's popular. Because I make all of my costumes, it's very important to me to feel a connection to the character. It could be, the personality. It could be something about the backstory of the character. It could, just be because I grew up watching the character on TV, or in the case of Chun-Li, played Chun-Li for years as a kid. And I also try to choose characters that fit my body type and fit my look. However, sometimes it's really fun to cosplay a character that looks completely different than you, because it then becomes a challenge to transform yourself into that character.
Definitely. Yeah, good insight there. So, building up on that, since both of you are very, very well-traveled people, so how does the cosplay scene in America differ from say the cosplay in regions like this in Asia, in Singapore, or what have you? How do you feel? What differences do you see?
Okay, I think that cosplay is very different depending on the country that you go to. Different cultures handle cosplay differently. And that's the great thing about it. In the United States, cosplay has kind of exploded in the last few years, and it's becoming mainstream enough that big news channels will actually come and they'll cover conventions like San Diego Comic-Con. Like CNN has a station, you know, CNN is a very, very huge, and they're in Atlanta. So for DragonCon, they're actually doing a feature on cosplayers.
Oh wow, CNN.
Yeah, and MTV and G4, different channels have come to San Diego Comic-Con, and they'll like go around and interview cosplayers and, you know, take footage of them. But it's interesting that the more mainstream cosplay is getting in America, the more misconceptions there are, because of course these news companies, they don't understand what cosplay is. So they look at, you know, cute girls in sexy costumes, they're like, this is what cosplay must be. It's gotta be a fetish, it's gotta be like a bedroom play thing. And so I'm actually sort of fighting against this misconception to try to preserve cosplay as an art form, because it is very creative, it is very personal, and it's something that each person uses to express their love for a character as well as their love for, you know, whatever genre and whatever skill and art form that they need to use. So it's just definitely getting bigger. I feel like cosplay in Asia is still very pure, it's still very fan-driven, but that's also because, you know, the source materials are more well-known here, right? I mean, more in Japan, everybody reads manga on the subway and such, and on the trains, and I don't know.
Oh, that's cool. What about you, Jerry? I mean, like, since that you are originally from the Philippines and you've been in America for like a couple of years now, so like what is your opinion on this?
When it comes to cosplay, the biggest part that I see different is most cosplayers in the US actually pride themselves of making their costumes, which I think is a very, very good thing. And the thing about you know, cosplayers in Southeast Asia, since we have like the cheapest sources and the cheapest labor, we have the tendency to actually just, you know, go to a convention with an already made costume that we have someone else made, which is, you know, typical. And in the US, they're slowly discovering cheap labor from overseas. So I see cosplayers there too, especially the new ones, that actually just buy it off online or from someone else. So that's basically the big difference. And conventions there are just bigger in general.
Definitely, bigger in scope and everything. So let's not forget, if any one of you has any questions for our guests right here, you can just go right up to the microphone there and ask away. So yeah, any question, anything at all on cosplay, especially cosplay in America here. Anybody? No? Seriously? All right. More time for me then. So yeah, you know, like cosplaying like in America and all. Like have you both like been to like any other countries? Like besides, you know, obviously Singapore and like in other states in America. Have you both like been to any other country before? Cosplay context.
Well, for me, because this is kind of my profession. I'm a professional cosplayer, kind of weird, but I am. So I actually travel a lot for my business, and I attend about 20 to 25 conventions a year worldwide. So I've been to South America and Central America. I've been to Europe, Scotland, England. I'm going to Germany actually in 2 weeks for the biggest anime convention there. And I mean, I've cosplayed in Japan as well, and it really is it's fascinating. I actually do a panel on just international cosplay when I'm back home in the United States.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I show photos and, you know, like talk about the different etiquettes and the different, you know, quirks that people have, and very cool.
Definitely, that's cool. Like, what about you, Jerry? Like, have you been to any other country in a cosplay context before?
I've been to Hong Kong, and so cosplaying there, I'm a bit a bit surprised because they don't call us cosplayers there. They call it cosers, I believe.
Cosplay.
And it's a common term here too, right?
Yeah, kind of. It's like a colloquial kind of a thing.
Yeah, so it's like they say coser, 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 and it's like, what's that? So they had to explain that to me. But typically, it's, you know, the same thing. Cosplay, people like dressing up, performing in costume, imitating their favorite character, staying in character all day, you know, the typical fun stuff.
Yeah, what I find so fascinating is that you don't have to speak the same language, even if you're in a different country. Like, it's almost like cosplayers, we have a bond with each other, even if we don't share the same language or culture or ethnicity. It's like cosplayers kind of find each other. We all know what it's like to, you know, have the frustrations of making a costume or putting it together. Even if you have it made by someone else, you still have to kind of be in charge of what materials to use and how it's going to fit, and, you know, the pains of being in costume, how uncomfortable it can be, and funny stories. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Yeah, it's definitely interesting how like the cultures and everything like differ from like country to country and everything. But yes,